This is George Dionne of the Rock is George podcast, and this is a KNAC.com exclusive interview with vocalist Jack Russell of Russell Guns. If I knew absolutely nothing about Russell Guns, how would you describe your music to me?
I don't know, man. Just straight ahead rock and roll.
Absolutely. I'd call it classic rock in the vein of both of your careers, quite honestly.
Yeah, I mean, we're not trying to change the world here, We're just trying to make it a better place.
Well, who contacted who to put this project together?
Actually, the record company put this one together. They contacted both of us and they said, "Hey, what would you guys think about doing an album with each other?" That's an interesting idea, So we talked about it, and I said, yeah. And apparently Tracy said, yeah. And next thing you know, we're doing our studio stuff,
Had you ever collaborated with Tracy before this project? Like maybe on like a Deadline tribute album or something?
Not that I'm aware of. Of course, my memory is like this long, So I don't think so, but it's a possibility.
Did you have any reservations? I know you don't really collaborate that often, so I think you're a little apprehensive where Frontiers puts these projects together. Some of them work, some of them don't.
I wasn't really apprehensive as much as I was just kind of worried about the time constraints. We have got a lot of stuff going on right now. We had the band's album we're working on. We're working on another band's album, which is a bunch of cover songs. It was difficult, to try to figure out when we're going to do all this. But so far, so good. We managed to, to get it rolling. I mean, putting out a lot of music lately, the Zeppelin stuff and hey.
Well, it's good to be busy.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you can bite out more than you can chew, though,
The new album with you and TRACII Guns is entitled Medusa. It came out on January 12th through Frontiers Records. Did Tracy handle the instrumental part of things and you handled the lyrics, or did you guys go back and forth with everything?
No, you know what? The lyrics and the music were written by, the key songwriter is Alessandro Del Vecchio. And he's the one that, put all the tunes together and made it happen. He's a great songwriter, a great guy. So we had a lot of fun. I enjoyed playing. It was really weird because, this is the first time I've recorded remotely in Denver, right, where I live, transferring back to a studio in Downey, California, Los Angeles, and that's where he's at recording. So I'm singing in Denver and he's recording it in L.A. So it's pretty cool to be able to have that kind of ability to do that. I would have never thought about that, 20 years ago. Somebody would have said, what? And then, no, that's not possible. But it's possible. Not only is it possible, it's doable and we're doing it. So I'm just wondering what the next thing is going to come down the line.
Well, I've spoken with Alessandro Del Vecchio many times. He's certainly got an ear for the artists that he works for. So it seems like a no-brainer to have him writing songs because I'm sure he's well familiar with L.A. Guns and well familiar with your work with Great White.
Well, that's great to hear. Well, I would hope so. I mean, the songs he came up with, they weren't far from, they weren't out of left field for me, It wasn't like all of a sudden there's a bunch of Bon Jovi songs, Not that would be a bad thing, but that obviously wouldn't have much to do with the band as far as we play our songs,
Now, with a project like this, it mainly ends up being like a studio thing. But do you think there's ever a possibility you and Tracy could play a couple of these songs live?
I was doing an interview earlier, and I was posed the same question. And, I never say never because you just don't know what's going to happen. It's possible, out on the road or a big festival in Europe or something like that, or a show over here, you just don't know. So like I said, never say never.
Do you have any particular favorites off the album? I know the two singles, they're bangers all by themselves. Next in Line and Tell Me Why.
Yeah, Tell Me Why is great. Back in Your Arms Again. In That Love, Living a Lie. Next in Line, I like a lot. Yeah, I mean the album is full of them. I mean, I really like the whole album.
Do you see this as something that you would do again, either collaborate with TRACII or collaborate with Alessandro in the future?
Sure, absolutely. You know, I love to making music with anybody. You know, it's nice to have a fresh set of ears and a fresh mind working on stuff and seeing where other people are coming from musically. You know, where are you at? You know, what are you thinking? What's going on in your heart? You know.
You're heading you may not be able to play with TRACII, but I see that Jack Russell's Great White is going to be playing some shows with Lynch Mob. One in particular is March 9th at the Medina Entertainment Center in Minnesota.
Yeah.
This is Lynch Mob's last run. What do you think about that?
It's a sad day. I mean, I always liked that band. I love George. George's been a friend for years. You know, back when Dawkins started. And you know, yeah, what do you say? The world's gonna be missing a great band, you know. But if it's like every other band, you know, 2 years later it'll be another. Okay, another. This is really the last tour.
Maybe
But
maybe we'll get Avatar Lynch Mob.
yeah, right. Great.
Well, George has plenty other bands to keep him busy, quite honestly.
He does. He does. He's a busy guy. He's a busy guy.
You've been in the business for about 40 years now. Have you ever contemplated retirement, maybe during the pandemic and whatnot?
40 years. Let's take a look at that. 40 years. Let's see. I started Great White with Mark back when I was 16, 17, 16 or 17. 16. You're gonna have to do this one. Help me. I don't have my calculator. Well, I'm 63 years old right now. I started the band when I was this band when I was
45 years. You've been in the business for 45 years.
well, I actually started my first band when I was 11, but that's a different hombre. But yeah, I've been doing this for a long time.
You never thought about packing it up like Lynch Mob?
Uh, you know, right now I think about it, you know, and I get that little scratch on the shoulder. Hey, man, you're getting a little long in the tooth for this, you know. And so far, I've been able to get him out, get out of here, you know. I don't know. I play with the idea every once in a while, but and I get on stage and I go, man, this is too much fun. You know, why don't I stop doing this? You know, so I don't know. Like I said, I sniff around it, but I haven't taken a bite yet.
Besides the Lynch Mob show on March 9th, do you have any other shows planned with Jack Russell's Great White?
Oh yeah, we got some coming up. Let's see here. February 2nd and 3rd, we're playing at the Jackpot Inn at Jackpot Casino in Nevada. And then we're playing the Golden Nugget in Nevada on the 16th. And in March, we're playing that show with George Lynch, Warrant, Lita, and Firehouse. April, we got a show with Dokken and Bullet Boys. That's it I mean, we have other shows. I just didn't write them all down. You know what I mean? Just touched on the first few, you know, because we've got a lot of shows so far this year. Yeah, that's all I'll say right now. We got my book coming out. My autobiography is coming out this year, probably about 3 months or so.
Well, tell me a little bit about this autobiography. When did you start writing it?
A girl named Caitlin Doty is working on it with me. We started writing this together about 3 years ago, I want to say. I don't know if it's been that long, but it seems like it's. Sorry, Caitlin, if I mess that one up. But you know, we've been working on it for a long time. She's a brilliant writer, just brilliant. She knows how to put pen to paper. I'll tell you, just has a flair for it. I wanted somebody that had finesse, when writing, not just one day I was working on my car and then I got oil on me, and I wanted to have her, let the pen, be the voice, you know.
Are you going to dish any dirt in this autobiography? Are there going to be kind of some shocking?
You know what? I've said a few things that some people are going to lift their eyebrows about, but I pretty much kept it, most of the dirt under the rug. There's no point in pointing fingers and calling people out on stuff. I mean, everybody's got skeletons in their closet, and probably me more than most. So, what's the point in talking bullshit about other people when you don't really necessarily need to. I don't need to fill up the pages, that's for sure. I got enough stories without doing that. I think I may even have to do a second book. Is that much involved? I mean, you got a lot of years of work and a big testimonial.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned your gigs with Jack Russell's Great White. A lot of them are at casinos. I feel like a lot of the legacy bands are playing these casinos, and everybody says that it's this great time, and they wish they were doing it sooner. What do you like about the casino shows?
It's everything's always on time. Everything runs good. It's a very professional atmosphere. The food's always good. Your accommodations are right there. You don't get run up to your room, take care. Take a shower, run down to the stage. Everything's right there. You don't have to. Where's the stage at? Where's this? Where's that? It's all right there. It makes it really easy to deal with.
The last Jack Russell's Great White album was 2017's He Saw It Coming, although you did do the Great Zeppelin 2 in 2021. What are your plans to release new music?
That's going to be probably this year sometime. That's what I'm shooting for. I'm shooting for this summer sometime. We're about halfway done with it, and so we've got the other half to finish. But it's gonna be a ripper. We're really excited about this one. It's gonna have some more traditional blues, like Great White was made of, and we're gonna do that. And we're also gonna not just traditional blues. We've got some real rock and stuff too. So it's gonna run the whole gamut.
Do you have an idea for a title yet?
Yeah. I had the title, and I lost it somewhere along the line. It wasn't fitting. I mean, I didn't lose it. I just kind of went, it doesn't really fit. It's not what I really wanted to say. So I'm still waiting for that one to pop in my head. It will. I'm not worried about it. Maybe once the album gets done, then I'll have a little talk with myself and figure it out. Or somebody will write in and say, "How about this?"
Well, let's hit the time machine a little bit. We're going to go back 40 years ago to 1984. That was the debut of Great White's first album. It was self-titled. It was released on EMI America. What do you remember about recording this album?
I remember I remember being a lot younger, nervous, going in there and doing these tapes. This big old giant microphone looked as big as my head. Now of course it's normal size, but back in those days it was like, oh my god, I'm in this huge studio with these huge consoles and huge speed. Everything was giant. Of course it's now come down to normal size, but back in those days everything looked huge. So I got used to that, but it was really cool doing recording in those years, because you didn't know what to expect. We had no clue of what to think, what to expect from this recording business, and we went in the studio and we put the tracks down, and I came in and sang my stuff, and it was a great experience. It was a lot of fun, and after that, after I got over the jitters of a recording, it wasn't a big deal after that. But the first time I went in the studio, I was crapping myself. You know, it was it was pretty scary. You know what I mean? Having not done it before on that level.
I think it's one of those albums that doesn't get its praises that it should. It's a little more raw. It's a little less blues than the sound that you developed over the years, but it's still a pretty good, solid album. What do you think?
I think you're right. I think that's exactly what I would say had I not said you not said it. You know, it's a rough and tough ready. I mean, it's a rough and ready record. You know, it's got a little bit of everything on it. I think a first album, I think it's all there. You know, it had a lot of great songs on it, and it was a lot of fun to record. A lot of fun to record. Michael Wagner, Don Dokken, of course, you know, produced it, and that was great. It made a great record. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I remember those days vividly.
Are there any plans to commemorate the 40th anniversary of this album, or is it something that's up to the record label at this juncture?
I don't think we would do that just because it's not really this band. It's the old band, and you know, it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's just not that. It's not that band. I wouldn't want to celebrate 40 years of Great White when you know. But I'm in Jack Russell's Great White. But we're celebrating Great White. It'd be kind of weird.
Well, the music still has a legacy of its own, and a lot of
Sure it
labels,
does. Sure it does.
a
Well,
lot of
let the people with the CDs and well, let them celebrate it.
there you go. No looking back. Let's look forward, right?
Right.
Well, Jack, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with me today about the latest Russell Guns album, Medusa, out now through Frontiers Music. It's a great album, much like your last album with under the Jack Russell's Great White banner. I look forward to the new album, and I wish you the best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you, Richard. Thank you for giving me your time and your patience and the questions and letting me answer. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.